There is now a 74% chance that the government shuts down within the next 3 days. That on top of the fact that Bitcoin has never closed January and February in the red. In today's video, we'll be talking about this, going over the most recent Bitcoin price action, and what I think could be happening next in this market. Are we just going to sweep the lows once more, or can we get a little bit of upside here? If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So as you can see here, 74% chance that the government shuts down by February 14th. And we have the fact that Bitcoin has literally never closed January and February consecutively in the red. You can see here 2015, red January, green February. 2016, same thing. 2017, 2018, 2019, all the same thing. And so far in February of 2026, it looks like we're about to make the wrong kind of history. Now, we're not even halfway through the month, so there is a chance that we can retrace here. And actually, if you've been following me for a while, you know that my base case was that Bitcoin would likely get a little bit more relief to the upside. I don't think that this wick up to $72,000 is the rest of the pump. I actually think that Bitcoin can get a more significant move to the upside before potentially rolling over. If you're new to the channel, I have been very vocal about shorting Bitcoin at around $97,000. I've continued to maintain this short. I've secured around $300,000 on this trade, and I honestly don't see why I would close this trade, because even on a relief rally, I find it hard to believe that at this point, Bitcoin will get a pump all the way up to its bull market support band. With that being said, we can still get a pump. And you'll notice here, I do have a position here in the negative, which is actually hype. I have been longing hype, the altcoin, simply because it has been actually outperforming Bitcoin over the past couple weeks. And if Bitcoin is to get some kind of pump here, I do think that hype can perform. I am in the negative, but guys, this is very insignificant compared to my other positions. I'll always be fully transparent about the trades that I'm taking in this market. But remember, all of my massive swing trades, whether I go long or short, are shared in my premium group before I come on the YouTube channel. You'll see here that this is my group. I leave voice messages, I leave updates as to how I am currently navigating this market. And more recently, I'm getting some DMs about people that are actually annoyed about the fact that I keep on talking about my short. We get it, man. You shorted at $97,000. But I don't think that you guys understand. I was getting so much hate when I went and shorted Bitcoin right as we tapped into our bull market support band. This was the perfect level to short. Now, base case here is that we can get a little bit of a move to the upside, but I would be looking for potential new swing shorts in this market, because ultimately I don't believe that this 59K wick was the low for Bitcoin for this bear market. So in the meantime, I am continuing to play a couple of longs with altcoins that I do think can outperform Bitcoin over this brief period of time. Reminder, if you want access to my group, when I share all of my own personal trades, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword 2026 if you're tired of the bullshit in the crypto market and you just want to trade the market that's right in front of you. Reminder though, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing that is shared on the channel should be construed as financial advice, simply because I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and of course his overall market analysis. I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my free group. Now that we got that out of the way, right now, Bitcoin is currently hovering around $66,800. We're in an interesting support level, and I wouldn't want to see Bitcoin break below around 65.8K. This is ultimately a decent area to look to start building out some longs. Now, I haven't entered a new long on Bitcoin, but you can see that I am starting to long a couple of other crypto assets. I want to see how the price action develops. Ultimately, I do think that we are due for a little bit more relief. Now, can we go ahead and move lower? Of course, it's a possibility always. You'll never hear me say that we're just going to absolutely skyrocket or we're going to absolutely plummet. I was pretty convinced about my short, but right now it's important to understand that going aggressively short here is not a good risk to reward opportunity. And the reason I say this, from the high all the way to where we essentially made it, Bitcoin had already dropped around 52%. So yes, we can see that the price is reversing ever so slightly here, but I would not be surprised if we can get another little move, ideally to around the mid 70K zone before potentially rolling over once more. Ultimately, my base case is this isn't the low, but in the more immediate short term, I have continued to look for longs in this market. We'll have to see how the price action develops. As always, I will keep you updated on my trades and how they develop. Now, let's take a look at the liquidity to build out the case that I'm currently talking about. On the 1 year time frame, there is just way more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market. So while Bitcoin can slowly bleed lower, we have seen these kind of bear market rallies, and I do think that we are ideally due for one. The real question is, where will it stem from? Will we come back down and sweep the lows before bouncing? Or are we just going to hit around that 50% level, that 50% retrace, and then get the bounce? Ultimately, a lot of people are shorting aggressively. You can see even all the way up to around $74,000, there's around $3 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage. However, if Bitcoin were to go all the way down to the low 50K zone, there's literally only around $1 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. And that doesn't even include the fact that if Bitcoin is to pump a little bit more, well, a lot of shorts would be getting wrecked. Let's take a look at the more local liquidity, and you'll notice here that right below the current levels, 66, 65, all the way down to the high 64s, there is a good cluster of longs to be grabbed. But once this cluster is ideally grabbed, it could mean that Bitcoin wants to go ahead and move higher from here. I'm just playing it from a risk to reward perspective. Now, if you're watching my channel from a spot portfolio perspective, I will be very vocal about when I start to accumulate Bitcoin. I haven't done so quite yet. Ultimately, I do think that this year will give us some phenomenal opportunities in this market. And I know not many of you are tuning into the channel recently because take a look at the social risk. This measures how retail is currently paying attention to crypto across social media platforms, YouTube influencers, layer ones, and exchanges, of course. And right now you can see that we are literally at zero. There's no one paying attention to crypto right now. So if you're still paying attention to my channel, for example, where I'm trying to guide you throughout the crypto market, throughout this brutal bear market, you will be rewarded. That is personally what I believe, and it's those that stick around when the times are tough that can really make it out much, much better, 10xing into the next bull market. Now, of course, no guarantees. This is not financial advice. The purpose of my channel is to make as much money as possible trading the market that's right in front of me and then accumulating near those bear market lows. And right now you can see I am currently trading the market, shorting Bitcoin, entering a couple more longs, and I will be looking to enter some more trades. If you want to know exactly which trades I'm taking, you know where to find me. The first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword 2026. And right as I'm recording this video, you can see that the non-farm payrolls came in at around 130,000, with the unemployment rate coming in at 4.3%, below the previous of 4.4%. Very, very interesting data to consider here. Right now, Bitcoin is hovering just above $67,000. We are at a pivotal level. Lose this level, and that's when we can start talking about tagging these lows once more, maybe filling some of that massive capitulation wick that we got all the way down to below $60,000. And next up, what I wanted to cover here in this quick update is that the founder of SafeMoon has just been sentenced to 100 months in prison. Nature is healing. I don't know if you remember SafeMoon, the altcoin, but this thing went absolutely parabolic and a lot of people got wrecked. This ultimately brings me to my next point, which is what Benjamin Cowan just came out and said. The end of the meme coin phase won't be the end of crypto. In fact, it's actually a very, very positive thing. It'll be the beginning of capital flowing back into assets with staying power. And one of those assets, in my opinion, is hype. Now, this is just a standalone trade, but I have been vocal about this in my previous live stream. At the bear market lows, which I don't think we've established yet, I will be looking to actually accumulate select altcoins. And one of those altcoins is hype. If you're new to the channel, you know that I've been vocally bearish on altcoins, and I do think that when we get those deep discounted zones, I will look to accumulate this altcoin with size to hold throughout the next bull market. But let's see how the price action develops. I'm not just going to start shilling a bunch of altcoins. It is not like me, but I wanted to let you know as to what I'm currently thinking when we head into those bear market lows. Right now, I'm just going to trade the market that's right in front of me and try to make as much profits as possible. The reality is this industry has essentially breeded a whole bunch of degenerate gamblers. And so I actually do think there's going to be some fluff that still pumps in the next cycle, whether I like it or not. but maybe it will get a little bit better to the point where retail can actually come back and we don't just have declining social risk over the course of the bull market. When social risk absolutely skyrockets, that's usually when you can see alternative assets in the crypto space, otherwise known as altcoins, really start to outperform. But until we get the social risk actually going parabolic, it simply means that it makes more sense from an investor's perspective to hold Bitcoin rather than altcoins. And I wanted to bring this to your attention. Goldman Sachs did disclose recently that they're holding around 2.3 billion worth of crypto, which amounts to just over 1 billion worth of Bitcoin, 1 billion worth of Ethereum, around 153 million worth of XRP, and just over 100 million worth of Solana. They do have some exposure. President Trump also came out and said that interest rate cuts would reduce the US debt. He keeps on talking about rate cuts, but right now the probabilities are not favoring rate cuts at the next Fed meeting, nor at the one after that. And the last thing I wanted to quickly address before I wrap up this video, there has been this clip going around where people are making it seem like Trump said he made a mistake on his nomination of Kevin Warsh as the Fed chair, but this clip has been taken out of context. So let's actually hear what he had to say. Here is the full clip.
When did you know you wanted Kevin Warsh?
So
officially it was 2 Fridays ago, but when did you?
Well, I made a mistake. He was runner-up, if you want to say that.
He was a finalist.
Yeah, he was, and I made a mistake because I had somebody that was my Secretary of the Treasury, wanted him so badly, and you know, I didn't feel good about him. But sometimes you listen to people, and it was a mistake. It was really a big mistake. But I think we're going to do something that's really spectacular.
What he's referring to here was actually the appointment of Fed Chair Jerome Powell all the way back in 2017. Warsh was the runner-up at the time, and he does remain Trump's nominee now. And that sums up today's quick video. Apologies for not publishing a video yesterday. I was a little bit under the weather, but here I am now, going to give you these market updates every single day, how I am personally navigating this market. Guys, just trade the market that's right in front of you, and at those bear market lows, that is when we will accumulate. Of course, I'm just sharing with you what I am personally doing, but I want to guide you along the way. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. As always, I have my bluff and leveraging tutorial right here, and I'll see you in the next video.